Hello everyone, welcome back to another Ozark Storm Central weather forecast. Now in today's forecast, we're going to be looking at a preliminary outlook for your Christmas forecast. We're also going to be briefly touching on the current conditions and what could be happening within the next 48 hours. So starting off here with our National Weather Service current hazards. We do have some winter weather advisories scattered throughout the East Coast going into portions of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the coastal areas of the Northeast as well. Definitely some winter weather ongoing today. As we go over to the National Weather Service 48-hour snowfall amounts, we do see some heavy snow actually unfolding into portions of Ohio as well as for portions of western New York. We also do have some heavy snow falling into portions of the Appalachian Mountains into West Virginia, as well as we do have some very heavy coastal snow here up into Maine. So going ahead and zooming in on this, we're going to first start off with Ohio. We do see areas northeast of Cleveland, areas northwest of Youngstown, and areas northeast of Akron. We could see an area or a pocket with 6 to 10 inches of snowfall in the farthest northeast county of Ohio there. We're seeing, though, Cleveland still an inch and a half to fall. Akron, same thing. Youngstown could even get upwards of 3 inches of snow. Now, as we shift this off to portions of New York, we see areas like Rochester, 4.5 inches of snow. Syracuse, upwards of 4 inches of snow. Now, areas west of Syracuse and east of Rochester, we could see in areas getting upwards of 6 inches of snowfall with isolated amounts to 7 inches. So definitely some very heavy snowfall that could still fall there. We see other populated areas like Buffalo, 1.5 inches, Jamestown, 1.5 inches. Areas like that still could be getting some minor impacts from this system. Now, we're going to go ahead and change this off to our models, and we're going to be looking at the Christmas time frame here. So we're going to go ahead, take a look at the current conditions, and just kind of move this on up until our Christmas day. So obviously we have this system that's ongoing today. That's moving through. That's where we just talked about our snowfall totals here. That's moving out of the Northeast probably by around tomorrow, right around noon. And we could still see some lake effect from that, especially into portions of, let's say, Northeast Ohio. Now, we go ahead and move this on. You can see we'll have a little bit of a clipper system moving through around the 23rd. This could impact portions of the Northeast, but it will be impacting portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, off through Michigan. Won't be talking about that one too much just because we're really focusing on the Christmas time forecast, but I could keep you guys updated on that if this does become a big system that we need to be watching. But definitely some snowfall could occur out of that. Now, here's where I really want to start locking in on a forecast. So this is very early morning on Christmas Eve. So we're going to go over Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. So midnight on Christmas Eve, we see some rain unfolding into portions of Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. We're going to need to watch the potential for some possible severe weather on the onset of that. Now, additionally, we have this clipper system that's moving through. This could actually be causing some snowfall, especially for the interior Northeast, very early morning on your Christmas Eve. So we'll be watching that. There could be some travel impacts with that, which would be pretty impactful given the time of year that it is. There's going to be a lot of people traveling on Christmas Eve. We see some very heavy snow, some very moderate snow going on around 6 a.m. on the 24th. Then that eventually moves out by the evening time frame on Christmas Eve. Now, unfortunately, we still do have some stronger storms developing down farther south into portions of Arkansas, let's say, right around your evening time frame on Christmas Eve. Now you can see throughout the early morning of Christmas, we actually do have some strong storms going into portions of Arkansas. Now this will continue through the day on Christmas. We see really, though, besides that, we have a little disturbance back here off into portions of the Rockies, higher elevation snow, especially for portions of, let's say, Utah, Idaho, and into Colorado. But really for your Christmas Day, unless you are within portions of the South Central, even into portions of the Ohio Valley, these are really the only areas that will be seeing some significant precipitation, and that would be in the form of rain and possibly thunderstorms as you get farther south. And then we have that snow that we just talked about off into portions of the Rockies. Those are really the two areas that we really have to be watching here. Now to go ahead and show you the snowfall amounts for this first area that you see in the Northeast, that's from our system that's going to be moving through on Christmas Eve to even the day before on the 23rd. Could actually cause a good clip of snow, especially for portions of the Northeast. This is also adding in the system that's moving through today, or moving through tonight and into tomorrow morning, so note that as well. But for your Christmas Day, we could be seeing some nice snowfall into the Rockies. You're talking upwards of multiple inches of snow, depending on where you are. Now, Unfortunately, the reason why we're not going to be seeing a very white Christmas for a lot of these areas, as we move the model on, you'll see right around the 22nd. This is where we're really going to start to see a big warm-up. We still see areas off in the East Coast still a little bit cooler than average, but really the western two-thirds pretty darn warm for this time of year. That's going to pretty much limit the snowfall potential because that is going to move eastward and eventually cover the whole entire United States in above average temperatures on your Christmas day. You can see Christmas Eve scorching hot for a lot of areas, especially the South Central and into the Northern Plains. Then as you go to your Christmas day, we're seeing scorching hot temperatures again compared to your seasonal averages. We're talking we're talking a good clip of the United States, at least 5 to 10 to 15 degrees above their seasonal average. And that's going to limit the snowfall potential, limit the potential for a white Christmas for a lot of you folks, unfortunately. So that's what we're seeing there. Now, in terms of the Canadian, this will be the last model that we go over in this forecast. Once again, we have that system clipping off of the Northeast later tonight and into tomorrow morning. Should eventually get out by around 12 a.m. on the 22nd. Then we have our little system developing on the 23rd, impacting portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and into Michigan. That'll eventually move through portions of the Northeast right around that Christmas Eve time frame, right around midnight. We see some moderate snow unfolding into the interior Northeast. We also see a system developing down into the South, right around portions of Oklahoma. Once again, this is midnight on your Christmas Eve. As we progress this model, this is by around 6 a.m. on Christmas Eve. We see some heavy storms possible into portions of Oklahoma. Once again, some moderate snow into portions of the Northeast. Maybe a little bit of a mixing going on into portions of North Carolina. We'll be watching that one. Really, those should not cause any travel impacts. Now, as we move on to the later portions of your Christmas Eve, we see some heavy storms firing off once again into portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. The models have been pretty consistent with this, so we're going to be watching this. Now, going through your noon time frame on Christmas Day, you can see we're seeing some rain actually still ongoing into portions of Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and into portions of Illinois and into Indiana. But you see not as much snow going off into the Rockies. So we'll be watching that trend to see what happens there. But then really for your Christmas Day, it should really just be some minor rain showers, maybe some stronger rain as you get farther south. But the Canadian does not advertise any severe weather really for the most part for those areas. Now, showing you the temperatures once again from the Canadian model, we see colder than average temperatures for the East Coast in the next 2 or 3 days, but then really by the 23rd into the 24th, it should really shift, and we should actually see some very warm temperatures diving into the United States. We see on Christmas Day a little bit of a difference here. The GFS wanted to bring a lot warmer temperatures, especially for the East Coast. Not doing that as much in the Canadian model, but definitely almost the entire United States is warmer than average at some point on Christmas Day. And then we see maybe an exclusion of the southwest coast there. But really, though, it's going to be a pretty warm Christmas to kind of summarize this, and really not much areas will be having the potential for a white Christmas. Really, the only areas that I'm really thinking right now is portions of the Rockies, and that's about it. So we'll be watching this. Who knows, maybe even portions of the Northeast if we get enough snowfall to fall. You still could have an inch of snow on the ground for your Christmas morning. So we'll be watching that, kind of seeing how that system plays out. Once again, that'll be moving through around the 23rd through the 24th. So we'll see how much snowfall that one will produce. But that'll about do it for this forecast, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.